And happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to the Connect Network TV. You are watching Major Impact. I am your host, Terry Cowser, here with my beautiful co-host, Aquania. Ellie has off today. How are you doing, lovely?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you, Terry. It's so good to see you. You look beautiful as usual.
Look, ditto queen. Listen, and I'm excited for today's show. We have two very special guests with us today. TV personality, influencer, speaker, and the CEO of Crystal Clear Productions, Christal Luster, is here with us, everyone. And Queen of Harlem, love it, is in the building. She is a gold-selling artist with her chart topper, Chicken Noodle Soup. You've seen her on Love and Hip Hop as well, but today you can catch her on this season of Baddies Caribbean. The trendsetter, the legend, Bianca Bonnie is here. But first, we have to tap into our segment, Social Media Uncensored. I love this segment. I hope y'all are loving it too. And so we are diving deep into a topic that has been dominating the headlines and sparking intense, and I mean intense, debates across the globe. And that is the Block Out 2024 list. Yes, y'all.
That's right, Terry. In a world where social media reigns supreme and celebrity voices carry significant weight, the decision made or not made by our favorite stars seems to have far reaching consequences.
Yeah, so according to Style magazine, some of the Hollywood's biggest names are finding themselves in hot water over their stance or lack thereof on the Israel-Gaza conflict. So what do you think about this, Aquania?
This is a little bit touchy for me because I had a career in foreign policy and I worked on a lot of government affairs. And sometimes we preferred when celebrities didn't weigh in on issues because it could impact foreign negotiations, current talks. Didn't necessarily change the United States position, but it definitely had an influence. And so it could go either way, right? Because on one hand, you love for the American public to take an interest in what's happening. But on the other hand, if the celebrity is not well informed or not presenting the best opinion because maybe they don't have all the facts, it can definitely impact in a negative way what is actually happening.
So I agree with what you said 1000%. And let me just say that, with topics like this that impact the globe, you are never going to please everybody. So no matter if you speak, people are going to be happy. If you don't speak, people are going to be happy or upset. And so what I think that we need to realize is that these celebrities are also people, right? We have to give them a little bit of grace, if they want to speak on or if they don't. But I agree with what you said 1000%. What we don't want is misinformation out there that has an impact, consequences that we did not intend, especially for celebrities who may not be versed in this.
Exactly. And that's right, Terry. Celebrities like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Justin Bieber, and Kim Kardashian are under intense scrutiny for their silence in this contentious issue. But let me tell you, the pressure is on. These stars are facing backlash and even criticism from fans and followers who are demanding that they speak out and use their platforms for good. But here's the $1 million question: how does this pressure affect celebrities personally and professionally? Hmm.
I just think that there's no like black or white answer to a question like this, and that's just the honest to God truth. But they are allowed, like they're people, they're allowed to have their own opinions, and either way, you're going to upset somebody, and that's just the truth. But I think the thing that we're missing is that these are celebrities, though. It isn't like they're politicians, they're not activists, they don't necessarily even have a background like you to be able to, kind of take in everything that's going on and speak about it. And so it's sticky, but I do understand that when you have a platform, one of the things is about using your platform, to at the very least get awareness out. Do you know what I mean? At the very least, draw a light to it. And so it is the age old dilemma. On one hand, you want to stay true to your beliefs and values, but on the other hand, they risk alienating their fan base and facing backlash from the public. So it's definitely a delicate tightrope to walk. And let me just say that's the blessing and the curse that comes from being in the public light. Right? It's like you're once you are out there and people are all eyes are on you. There's pros that come to that, and then there's cons that come to that. So you have to be aware. You can't take all the good and then not win any of the bad. You have to be responsible. So it is definitely pressure. And so let's also talk about Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian. So these two powerhouse celebs are being pressured, with a capital P, pressured to speak out on the Israel-Palestine conflict. And fans are even coordinating a social media boycott. That's a lot, to make their voices heard. So you may have already seen it. It's called the Blackout 2024. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that?
I still feel like we have to tread lightly because they might have a personal opinion that doesn't even match their brand. And I'm sorry. I hope I can say this and not offend anybody, but I don't want Kim Kardashian's opinion. I,
Look, we said social media uncensored, so you are uncensored. Listen.
And not only do I not want her opinion, I prefer she doesn't weigh in because I'm so nervous as to what she's gonna say. And again, is it gonna be factual? Is it gonna be correct? And is it gonna be her opinion? Because the other factor you have to take into consideration is the fact that they have teams, right?
That's
And
it.
if I was on her public affairs team, I'm her publicist, I'm the person who helps her create talking points, I would actually probably be in the same position where we don't speak to this. But we do encourage those who are leaders in foreign affairs to do what they can to help resolve the issue as quickly as possible. Because, like you said, they can be alienating quite a few of their fans because
Yeah.
they are global icons. But that's just me. I honestly feel like it could go either way because I know in the past there have definitely been things that celebrities have done to spark awareness on topics that affect many, many people, but they have done it in their lane. So it's hard because this influencer lane is a whole new career. But back in the day, Michael Jackson could create a song and now we are singing We Are the World, right?
Right.
And everybody is all about our children. But what is the lane of an influencer? Where do they, how do they present their value on this hot topic in a way that makes sense? If a musician made a song, it makes sense, right? You sell the song, you get people to sing the song, people start to donate to the cause, etc. But an influencer, it's so broad, and they are influencers. So that's where it's critical that whatever they choose to say and hope and influence other people's opinions about, it should be in their lane. I'm gonna go 10 toes down on this one.
Let's listen. No, it's okay.
Because that's how I feel.
No, look, and that's how you feel. And it's okay because you have a platform also. And so let's not forget about Justin Bieber, who also found himself in some hot water when he posted a message in support of Israel, only to realize, as you just were talking about, that the image he used actually depicted the Gaza Strip. So it just goes to show you that even with a team, even with advisors, some of our biggest stars can make mistakes. And that's just what you were talking about. So we'll keep you up to date on this so-called blackout movement. But in the meantime, stay tuned because coming up next, get ready to be wowed because joining us next is the sensational Christal Luster. She's a personality, influencer, speaker, and the CEO of Christal Productions.
And later, the one and only Queen of Harlem herself, Bianca Bonnie, is here. Don't move.
I'm AJ Aquia Johnson, and I help people rock their better. I help people connect with their happy. And you're watching Connect Network TV.
Hi, I'm Dondre Whitfield. And go check out my book, Male vs. Man. And you are watching the Connect Network TV.
I'm Fern Malice. I was the creator of New York Fashion Week, and now I have a consulting business. And I'm also the author of Fashion Icons by Fern Malice. And I have books 1 and 2, which are fabulous, full of great interviews. You can buy the book set at Nordstrom or buy the books independently at Amazon or other great booksellers. You can follow me on Instagram and find out more about my events and everything I'm doing. It's at Fern Malice. And I'm happy to be here on the Connect Network.
And welcome back to Major Impact. It is June and summer is around the corner, so it's time to get inspired and get the most out of this vibrant season. I am super excited. Joining us today is the incredible Christal Luster. She is a TV personality, influencer, speaker, and the CEO of Crystal Clear Productions. Christal has made a significant mark in the entertainment industry with her dynamic presence and innovative projects. Her journey is nothing short of inspiring. Christal, welcome to the show, love.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is exciting. I'm super excited to hear more of your story. So let's hop right into it. Christal, they say you are like the Beyonce of influencers, slaying the game. So, can you spill the tea on how you went from being a social media novice to a bona fide influencer extraordinaire? Because our viewers definitely want to know.
Well, it's so funny. Like so many other millennials during the pandemic, I started out on TikTok. Now, the backstory that a lot of people don't know is that I've been doing social media and content creation for years. I started out really heavy in music and then, started coming up with like different skits and stuff, but I didn't really know how to conceptualize it and retrofit it for social media until the pandemic. And I stumbled out trying to figure out what is this TikTok thing. And I remember I had a video go viral, and the next thing I know, Tabitha Brown was in my comments, and I was freaking out. I'm like, "Whoa, Auntie Tab is like related." She was like, "How I can relate." And it was so funny because, being a traditional creative, I'm thinking like, oh, I have to do everything a certain kind of way, have a certain kind of quality. And it was the most like unpackaged video I'd ever done. It took me like 15 seconds to do, popped it out there, and then it's got like 40,000 views. And these celebrities are commenting how they can relate, and I was like, whoa, how can I duplicate this? And so I basically just kind of kept working a formula, understanding trends, understanding how the communication happens on the different platforms, what people care about, and how to just keep rejoining that conversation. And before I knew it, within a matter of 8 months, I had grown my TikTok from about 40,000 followers to 400,000 followers. And then in the last year, I grew my following from about 780,000 across my platforms to over 1.6 million.
You better go ahead. You
Woo!
better go ahead. And what I love about your journey is that you shared that the very first time the video went viral, you didn't spend hours and hours agonizing over it. It was just some content you put over. But the key is that you maximized on it. Then you were like, let me go ahead and keep be consistent. Let me see how I interact. And I think that's a key thing that you may not necessarily know what's going to go viral, but then maximizing on that time, that opportunity. And we love us some Miss Tabitha, okay?
So
Yeah,
I love it.
that's
And
right.
thank you for sharing that story.
Yes,
Absolutely.
when you can relate to everybody, that is a games changer. So let me ask you, how'd you grow your social media following without resorting to paid ads?
I'm gonna be really honest with you. Back in the day, before TikTok was a big thing, I did pay for followers. I'm talking about like 10 years ago because I was so desperate to like grow my platform, especially as an artist back then. And of course, that looks good for like a second because you jump from like 500 followers to 10,000 followers. But then Instagram at the time started cleaning up and it started dropping, 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 and you back to square one. And so I was determined not to do that this time. And what I realized was that just showing up as myself was really the secret sauce. And that's why I don't mind telling people about my journey and about being authentic because no one can compete with me because I'm the only me. And that's really everybody's secret sauce. Just be yourself.
Absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that you're being transparent about I made some mistakes and then I cleaned that up and I never did it again. This is what you can do, which actually leads me into my next question. Because what tips do you have today for someone who's actually looking to grow their platforms, but they may have kind of missed that COVID follower boost where everybody was sitting at home just looking at all social media. So what tips do you have for people to grow today?
So I definitely recommend, even to people that I do like some corporate coaching on building a social media following. People are hungry and desperate for authenticity. There's a lot of like, fakeness out there, and there's this idea of what a social media influencer looks like, and they live this glamorous life. Listen, I go to work, I work hard. It is not super glamorous all the time. There are some very low days, very hard days. So just sharing your journey, because right now I think what the pandemic really highlighted is that one, the world is a lot smaller than we think it is. Just because somebody lives across the ocean or something like that doesn't mean that they aren't experiencing the same things that you experience. But then also because of that, people want to really resonate with somebody who sees them and makes them feel validated. So showing up as yourself, like I said before, that was like the one of the biggest things is just being yourself, but then also understanding how the different apps work and what people are talking about. If you're just kind of jumping into it, do some research, scroll a little bit and see what's trending, see what people are talking about. That's a good way to get into the conversation. Because as we say, Juneteenth is coming up. How you sticking your fingers in the Kool-Aid and you don't know what flavor it is? You know what I'm saying? Taste test, taste test.
I love it.
I love that. Christal, we have heard that your social media channels are basically cash cows. So let's talk monetization, because how have you been able to turn posts into profit? And give us all the tea, boo. Like, I want to know why and how are you raking in the dough and still being able to be authentic to your brand? Because you talk so much about authenticity today.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and bust a myth real quick, right? A lot of people were, and it is still kind of floating around now about, how much money you can make from the apps themselves. And like, I will say, there have been pockets where you make a good amount of money from the app itself. TikTok probably brought in the most amount of money in the last 6 months when it comes to their creator fund program. There are qualifications. You have to have a certain amount of followers and have a certain amount of engagement and different things like that. Instagram and Meta has brought back in their bonuses, and so, but it's not as easy. Like, I had a huge following. I think I had well over 400,000 followers before I got invited, but I also had friends who had a significantly smaller account that got invited to the bonus program. So needless to say, there are variables there that are controlled by the powers that be. The real way to monetize your platforms, right? Engagement is incredibly important. It's not necessarily about followers. If you have 100,000 followers, but only 2 people are liking your post, or like only 10 people are commenting on your post, that does not translate $2 for a company. It's about an investment, right? You're essentially selling marketing spots, advertising spots on your channel. And so partnerships is really the real way to bring in significant amount of money, partnering with big brands, companies to push their products. It's just like cable television. If there's product placement in a show or in a movie, or if there's a commercial that runs through the program, that's essentially what social media has turned into. There's a love-hate relationship with it, but hey, your girl got to eat, right? And so my biggest thing is my authenticity is what gains me the trust of my audience. And because I have that, that means if I suggest something to them, they're more likely to take my advice, which makes me valuable to marketers who want to use my platform to reach their target audience.
Yes, yes, I see that. Okay. So let's break that down a little bit more for someone who is an action taker and they're going to watch this episode and take action. So break that down for us. If I started today, what specific steps do I need to take my social media and my brand and turn it into a business?
So there are a couple things that I always recommend. One, I think that you have to think about starting from the end, your end goal. So for example, when I first started really paying attention to this as not just something to do on the weekends, but like a lifestyle choice, a career move, I wanted to look at what kind of brands do I want to work with in the end of things, like when I'm really established and I'm really growing. And because of that, I worked backwards and understood that my type of brand is very family friendly. That it speaks to who I am as a person, but it also speaks to the brands that I want to align myself with. So if I want to work with, something like Target is a company that I want to do some work with in the future. Target has a very family friendly brand, a very inclusive brand. They're very fun. They're very approachable. And so like, I probably wouldn't put out content that's just like, constantly saying expletive, and no clothes on, and, spewing hate and all those different things, because it doesn't align with their brand. So I will work backwards and take into consideration who you want to align yourself with so that you can match their target audience, but you also, it makes a good fit from their perspective.
You broke it all the way down. Okay, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being with us today. So if nobody missed it, can you just tell us again, how can our followers work with you directly?
Please connect with me on all social media platforms at Christal Luster. It is the shiniest name that you will ever see. That's how I tell people to remember it. And you can also reach me at christalluster.com.
Stay with us and we will be right back with Bianca is King.
Hey, beautiful people, it's Major Mr. This is why I love you. And you are watching the Connect Network TV.
So before we dive into the action, let's take a moment to celebrate y'all something truly special. Today marks the start of Black Music Month, a time to honor the rich legacy and cultural significance of Black artists and musicians. So let's give a round of applause to incredible talents who have shaped the music industry and touched our lives in profound ways. Look, this is from Love Jones, y'all, when you do the snap, okay? So, and joining us on today's show is none other than the queen of Harlem herself, Bianca Bonnie. And she's not only just a gold-selling artist with her chart maker, Chicken Noodle Soup, but she's also a trendsetter, a legend, and a force to be reckoned with. We are super excited. Welcome to the show, Bianca.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Hi.
we're so glad to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Awesome, awesome. Let's
Yeah.
get into it. Let's kick off with a big hit at just 15. Let's talk about it. How
Yeah.
did you get through that Chicken Noodle Soup? We want to know, how did that song and dance all come to be? And how can you tell us about the chaos as well, the changes, and how it rocked your world?
Okay, well, basically, I got into music. Like, I always had a passion for it. I came to find out my dad told me that my uncle was in Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. So I guess that's kind of where it stemmed from, like the musical side on my dad's side. But I just always was singing. Like, since I learned how to talk, I would sing. And then I was too nervous to like actually sing in front of people. So I started like rapping, like making poems and just doing the rap so I could get it out. So my uncle, he made beats, the drizzle, and I actually like took the beat from him. Like I would take all these beats from him and then I just started creating music. Like I was really into dancing. So I would make all these like dance records to these songs. And in Harlem, I was super popular. That's like why they call me the Queen of Harlem. And literally we would make all these different dance tracks to these dance songs. And Chicken Noodle Soup just kind of really like blew up like from just making creating dance songs in the neighborhood.
I absolutely that is a true definition of using your gift, something that you loved, and now look at what it has grown into. And so that brings
Yes.
me to social media has been your ride or die, giving your career that second wind. So how do
Hmm.
you keep it fresh? Look, she said, uh-huh. How did you keep it fresh and relevant in this digital age?
It's so crazy because I keep telling everybody now, like, it's like I'm known in every generation of people. It's like Chicken Noodle Soup was 2006, so that was almost like 2 decades ago. It's gonna be 20 years in 2026. Um, then I did Love and Hip Hop, and that was like 2015. And now it's like the new kids know me from Baddies on Zeus Network. So it's like all different generations know me. And it's I was just grateful to have the opportunity to like be able to work my social media after being on VH1's Love and Hip Hop New York, because the 3 seasons like it built my following up to millions of followers on like all these platforms that I'm on. And it was just it's easier now, like the transition, because when I first came out, social media wasn't like, I don't know if it was like non-existent, but it was not like it is now. Back in the day, if you had talent, you had to have a manager or somebody that was plugged and connected, and people would never see your talent. Like you would never get an opportunity. But nowadays with social media, you could be an actor, an actress, a comedian, whatever you a chef, whatever you have a passion for, and really get to reach out to all these millions of people from around the world to see your talent, and you can be famous. Like it's nothing that can stop you now.
And Bianca, from the streets to reality TV, you have lived it all. Can you share the details on your journey from love and hip hop to marriage boot camp? What reality TV really is like behind the scenes? Let us know.
um, from Love and Hip Hop, I was basically like, that was one of the first networks that I was on VH1. So it was basically like the first time I was ever on TV, so I didn't really know much about it, like the behind the scenes or the way that things worked. But I grew and started learning the business and just like maneuver my way through it. So getting on marriage boot camp, I was already like kind of seasoned because I did 3 years of reality TV. But every reality TV show is different. Every network is different. Producers are different. They want different things out of you. So it's really like you would never know because it's not the same.
This is definitely an industry, a tough one to navigate, particularly when you are young. So today we are hearing horror stories from when artists like Usher and Justin Bieber got into the industry really, really early. What are your suggestions on how can you navigate the industry? And for those of who are young, do you recommend they get mentors or someone else to have their back?
Like Usher, he got into the business way before, like when I say like when music was real music and the business was real business, like you really had to have talent and somebody had to find you and it was just special like then. So he's been in the business long before, but nowadays kids are being raised off social media, so they like could go to the internet and then it's all the comments and it's all this stuff. So I would say like have your circle of people that you trust and that really care about your intentions and have your best intentions, because the industry is really like it's a snake business. It's really like every man for themselves and nobody really cares about the act or the talent. You're just as good as your last song or your last show or your last movie or your last interview. So you have to really have a group of people surrounding you that care about you, whether you're lit or if you fall off or whatever. They just have to love you for you and really care about what you have going on in life personally, because that way you'll always win and it'll always be good. But I can say like, yeah, they can have like, I don't know if it's their mom or their one of their close friends or whatever, but they can have someone close to them to like really stay and keep them focused, because it is a big deal, like mental health in this business and making sure, that you just keep yourself sane. Because like I said, I've been in the business for 18 years. So it's been a rough up and down, and you learn a lot of things and you go through a lot, but like just have your circle and keep it close and don't really like think that everybody's for you, because
That's
they're not.
good.
We also know that you're a visionary and you're a mommy too, and you aren't done with your music.
No,
You've
not at
got a new joint out right now called What You Talking About, featuring Kenzo B. How'd that come together? Tell us the tea.
Well, my team wanted me to work with Kenzo. She's a drill artist, and they work with drill artists. They have the group 41 that sing Bent, who they also nominated for 2 BET Awards right now, Best Group. So they are into the drill music. So they wanted me to link with Kenzo and, like tap into that whole community. So we did the song and it came out really dope. We shot the video. It's on YouTube. Has like over 100,000 views right now. And I'm just tapping back and, like when you reinvent yourself and stay relevant, you got to tap back into the youth or the culture or whatever's going on and make sure you're in the loop.
So you are such a sweetie. So thank you so much for being here and good luck with everything coming up. So tell us, how can people keep up with you, your music, your shows, all the things that you got going on, Queen? Share with us.
Well, everybody can reach me on all my platforms. It's at Bianca is King, BIANCAISKING. And make sure you guys check out my YouTube documentary, Flowers for Bianca, and all my music videos that I have coming up.
So we hope that you enjoyed today's show. Thank you to everybody for pulling up today. So remember, everybody, you can enjoy past episodes Netflix style on our website at theconnectonline.com.